right, I think we're live. You know, I watch this movie every year, pretty much every year. The Patriot, good movie with Mel Gibson. Great movie. It shows two sides, how Esau, so-called Europeans, can portray themselves as men of honor, men of bravery, men of justice. And at the same time, you can see how they portray themselves as hypocrites, cutthroats, devils, and thieves. I account that to the British side as well as the American side. In other words, America, glorifies and sensationalizes its own history. Again, a good book to read is A People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn. Great book. Gives all accounts of the evils of this country. Check it out when you get a chance. But, more shootings are happening. Yeah, more shootings. Nothing has changed. More people are dying. Are you surprised? I'm not surprised. It's every year. I saw something on the news where they were asking black people. You know, they made it like it was a general statement or request not to bust off their guns when the fireworks are going off. And those of you who know the hood or live in the hood, you know, guns are being shot off off the rooftops, sometimes from the rooftops into the public, in the streets. People are shooting. But, the picture on the right, I remember this scene from that movie, The Patriot. And they pretty much came on this plantation, the British that is. And they, let me put my face up for this. They bum rushed the plantation, and the character that Mel Gibson plays, they pretty much killed his son and took away one of his eldest son, who dies in the movie as well. Those of you I'm sure it's a very classical movie in my opinion. But they took away his eldest son, who died. And there's one scene where you got these slaves. They thought they was gonna walk away free or get a free pass, and they pretty much say, "You damn ninjas, get in the damn cart, or you coming with us?" you know. But it just shows the false hope that's instilled in the minds of so-called black people in this country. I like to go on people's channels, and I guess you could call me a troll or whatever. And and I challenge them. They talk as though that that they're gonna build themselves back up as a people, and they're gonna change the course of the oppression of the so-called black man. That's what they think. They really believe this. They really believe this foolishness. But clearly they don't watch current events, because the whole world is on fire, man. The whole world is on fire. Financially, then on a physical level with war. You see what's happening in Russia. I bring it up every time. Every time I bring it up. But check out this video, because I found this pretty interesting. This particular video, as far as the War of Independence.
The authors of the Declaration of Independence compared living under British rule to living as an enslaved people, but the document did not recognize the rights of enslaved African Americans. When the war began, slavery was legal in each of the 13 colonies. Yet, just as white soldiers signed up to fight for the Patriot cause, As many as 5,000 African Americans did so as well.
5,000. That's a lot considering the time period that that slaves were in, black people were in at that time. But 5,000. Today you got the so-called Negro and Hispanic. You happily will join the U.S. military. Happily. I did a video the other day where they target low-income neighborhoods, which are filled with so-called blacks and Latinos, and they get you at a nice, young, ripe age where they can condition and brainwash you to fight, to die, to lose arms and limbs for the very people that oppress the hell out of you, to line the pockets of the very people that oppress you, and they give you this foolishness that you're protecting the freedom of Americans over in this country, which is a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap. It's a bunch of crap.
How did their service impact the issue of slavery in the American colonies? In 1776, 1 in 6 colonists was an African American, and of those, 99% were slaves. Most lived in the southern colonies, but New York and New Jersey also had large slave populations. When the Revolution began, African Americans reacted with hope and excitement. Many were equally ecstatic about the words of the Declaration of Independence, which declared that all men are created equal. As the war escalated, African Americans faced many tough choices about which side to support. In Virginia, the Royal...
I stress that Hispanics and blacks are brothers and sisters if they're lineages of Negro and Indian descent. They make up the lost 12 tribes of Israel, and they're God's chosen people. But the so-called white man, whether he's British Caucasian, Italian Caucasian, Russian Caucasian, French Caucasian, German Caucasian, they all one race, man. They all one race, and they have a history of doing the same thing, carving up, taking, robbing, and raping wherever they go. That's nothing personal. It's not a racist statement. That's basic history. Basic history. History tells us that when the oppressor came to this country, the diseases were so vast, so destructive, it damn near destroyed and wiped out whole populations of Indians. Look it up. It's a fact. There's a lot of things in history that they don't tell us because they are ashamed. This is what the woke side is doing, and I agree with that. They want in the curriculum the truths of what this country did to people of color, not just in America, but all over the world. That Columbus, he was a thief. That Columbus opened the door to genocide for people of color, not just in America, but all over the world. And this so-called white man, that's what he did. He went all around the world and took, robbed, and stole. And the Most High condoned it because it was of the Most High spirit that this man would bring death and destruction all over the world. That was prophecy. That was prophecy. We discussed this the other day. You remember we talked about this in the book of Revelations. And a lot of people, they're in their emotions, and they'll have a hard time, grappling with this understanding because they think it's hate. No, it's basic history, and certain histories can be linked to the Holy Bible. Yeah. Certain history can be linked to the Bible. Mm-hmm. And certain prophecies can be linked to history. Certain prophecies that's written in the Bible will come to pass, and some have come to pass. Can't get away from it. No, you can't. It's a fact, and it's hard to digest, especially for Europeans, because it's an ugly history and truth about your forefathers and what you're doing today. Fortunately, the Most High put the Spirit on a lot of the Edomites being so-called Europeans, to reveal some of these truths. And the Republicans, they're trying to put it behind us and just move on, which is crazy. A lot of so-called black people, they out of their minds too. They feel that they can just move on, be Americans, make money, and that'll be the end of it. But it don't work that way. It doesn't work that way. This is why you're going to see a lot of weak-minded so-called Negroes and Hispanics barbecuing and acting a fool. This is what you're going to see. We have a long history of ignorance as well as greatness. But my point is, prophecy does fulfill itself. Prophecy is part of the Holy Bible. The Most High says in Revelations, again, we went through this about a week ago, a week and a half ago. It says, and when he had opened the fourth seal, these seals represent prophecy and judgment on the earth. Harsh, brutal judgment on the earth, all ordained and condoned by the Most High. And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard a voice of the fourth beast saying, come and see. Come and see. You know, inquiring minds will know. You should be curious about the whole Bible, not just what I'm talking about here. You should be curious about the whole Bible and what it's talking about. To be not curious as far as the Spirit of God, to not be curious about how your people, I'm talking about you so-called Dominicans and Puerto Ricans and Cubans and Mexicans who are God's chosen people, not to be curious of how you link up with the Bible and what the brothers have been telling you for years is just pure stupidity. The Most High put the Spirit on so-called black people, so-called Hispanic people, to build a bridge to bring you over to the Most High. That left side, that other side is Christianity. That's what the enemy has given you. The white Jesus that you're following, the enemy gave you that. But now in these last days, the truth is starting to manifest itself. In these last days, the Most High is showing you what you need to see. Yeah. No matter how you feel, it matters what the scriptures are saying. It matters about common sense. But the Most High is very clear. He says, and when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard a voice of the fourth beast saying, come and see. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death. And hell followed with him. Now, who could that be? Who could that possibly fit that description? That hell follows this particular people wherever he goes. The churches are going to try to teach you it's one man, or it's just a spirit. But who brought hell and diseases and swords and religions and doctrines of devils wherever they went? Huh? Who did that historically? It's not hard to figure out. It's nothing personal. It just makes sense. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death. And hell followed with him. So hell followed with this particular group wherever he went. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with the sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth. Who does that fit? That doesn't fit everybody. That's not talking about everybody. That's quite clear what's going on there. Quite clear. Not hard to tell, not hard to figure out at all. Let's go on.
The governor offered freedom to any slave who deserted their master and signed up to fight for the British Army. While this policy was temporarily dropped by the British because it alienated many white loyalists in the South, it became a full military-wide policy in 1779. Sir Henry Clinton, the supreme British commander at the time of the implementation, argued that the policy was justified because the Continental Army was using African American soldiers as well.
So you just were basically being used, just like you're being used today in Iraq, Desert Storm. Whether you're a Navy dude, a lot of Hispanics are in the Navy. Whether you're a Marine, you're being used. And the people at the top, they're just robbing and stealing and taking oil and land and natural resources wherever they go. Just like we just read it in Revelations. Wherever they go, they bring death. It's just that you so-called Negroes and Hispanics, you're being used as slaves to accomplish the mission of the devil. Yeah.
Well, after initial hesitation due to Southern objections, free African Americans were accepted into the Continental Army. By 1779, a full 15% of Washington's army was African American. Rhode Island was the first state to field an all African American unit in 1777. Massachusetts chose to mix black and white soldiers together. Every colony, with the
so we got a history of serving in the military with the so-called white man as far as the War of Independence. And then when you check out the history of so-called Negroes in the military during World War II, you were treated like SH, man. You were treated like total garbage. Total garbage. The Germans, they treated the Germans, the enemies that you fought, they treated them better than you so-called Negroes. Showing you what? That this man is a hypocrite. That America is full of hypocrisy. That true freedom and equality you will never get in this country. You will never get it. It's not going to happen.
Exception of South Carolina enlisted free African Americans to fight. However, not all black Americans who fought for the Patriot cause did so of their own choosing. When the states began drafting militiamen
Check this out.
into full military service, many Southerners sent slaves in their place, offering them freedom if they served honorably. In the final stages of the war, the British shifted their focus to the southern colonies, where a substantial number of loyalists and slaves provided manpower and support to their armies. As the brutality of the war intensified, many British officers began viewing runaway slaves as contraband.
Contraband, like a damn a weapon of war, or a tank, a leftover tank, or a car, or a box of guns or bullets. That's how they saw you, man. That's how they saw you, the greatest people on this earth.
That is, goods to be seized and confiscated. Sadly, thousands were sold into an even worse form of slavery in the West.
And they still sold you. They still sold you. This is your 1776. Yeah. Check it out.
Sadly, thousands were sold into an even worse form of slavery in the West Indies.
So you had runaway slaves that was taken as contraband and sold to a harsher format of slavery in the West Indies. So the devil could make more money. More money.
With greedy British officers making as much as $1,000 for each slave that they sold. In spite of the arguments and turmoil, the service of African Americans changed the minds of many white Americans. By the end of the war, Vermont, Massachusetts, and New Hampshire had abolished slavery. Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, and Connecticut also voted in plans to gradually do away with the institution. In Boston, Phyllis Wheatley, a talented African American author whose writing was often supportive of the Patriot cause, celebrated the end of the war and her freedom in a poem entitled Liberty and Peace.
So-called black man has a vast history in America, man, and yet doesn't get the respect that he deserves. Yeah, vast history in this country, but does not get the respect he deserves. But again, you know, the ones of you who are foolish enough to believe in this country and to believe in Christianity and lies and roasting burgers and hot dogs on the grill today, you're just showing just how ignorant you really are, and you believe the lie. This is why the Most High has to destroy a good portion of us. This is why we have to be destroyed, man, because a lot of you are going to hold on to the lie. A lot of you are going to hold on to that lie till you die, man. This is why we have to suffer, man. This is why the Most High has to put his spirit in us to not just go to war, but to move and operate in a capacity that's worthy of a master, a righteous master. This is why this has to be done the way the Most High wants it to be done. Because a lot of us are too emotional and too much into our feelings. But I found this, I found that very interesting. You know what else I found interesting? Cardi B, giving her opinion on her nationality. This is why I say like Hispanics are Israelites, and she's kind of touching on certain things, but she's still a damn fool and portrays herself as a whore for the money. But she know what time it is because she's from the gutter. And a lot of times that's what it takes. When you just see the truth, you have to be from the gutter. Yeah, check it out.
We same type of music. We just don't have like the same traditions. And I feel like people need to really understand, because people just don't be understanding shit. Like, it's like, oh, Cardi's Latin, she's not black. And it's just like, bro, my features don't come from fucking white people fucking, okay?
He's got these idiots. They actually believe that they're not black. You got Dominicans darker than me that say they're not black. Now you tell me that's not a sickness? Then you got brothers. I was going back and forth with these brothers on FOPE. They're telling me that if Chinese were to grow up among us and develop among us, to be in the hood with us and to run from the cops with us, to be locked up by the cops with us, to sit in jail with us, to collect welfare with us, to be strung out on crack. Like we were strung out on crack in the 80s. They're telling me that Chinese and East Indians would move and operate and have the same spirit as a Puerto Rican or a Dominican. I said, get the hell out of here. Does that even make any sense? That's the pride. That's the pride. That's not even logical. Hispanics are Israelites, if they're of Negro and Indian descent. Bottom line. They say that the Puerto Ricans and the Dominicans act like so-called black people because they dwelt among us and learnt our spirit or adapted our spirit, which is totally insane. It's totally insane. And Cardi, she has a way, but she know what time it is to a certain degree.
And they always want to raise bait when it comes to me. That's why I have Afro features. It's like, oh, but your parents are light skinned. Your parents are this. All right, but my grandparents aren't. Well, matter of fact, both my grandfathers, they both got green eyes, and my grandmothers, one of them, she's really like darker than me, and the other one from my mom's side, she's really, really dark. Because people from the Caribbean islands, it's a mixture. You know what I'm saying? It's like the first places where the slaves were taken to.
It's a mixture, but the Indian ones are our brothers too, because all the Dominicans in the hood, they're not Afro Latinos, but they act like damn ninjas. The Puerto Ricans in the hood, they're not all Afro Latinos. Some of them are straight up Indian, but they act like savage ninjas. And Esau, the so-called white man, views us all the same as people who need to be eradicated, castrated spiritually, then on the physical level, stopped from having so many children. That's right. So we're coming into a time point, an era where Hispanics of the younger generation, this generation rather, they starting to separate from the old teachings of their grandmothers and their grandfathers who told them to separate from so-called black people. The older breed is dying out. And the harder times get in this country, the harder it gets to make finances work for you or to make ends meet, the more a lot of Hispanics and Latinos, they're going to start to see reality. They're going to start to see it. Because a lot of the curses that fall on the so-called Negroes fall on Hispanics as well. You could say they don't, but they do. Nobody's oppressed outside of so-called Negroes. No one is oppressed at a higher level as so-called Hispanics. And this is the question I always ask. Are the Chinese, if Puerto Ricans and Dominicans are heathens, are they just as oppressed or vice versa as so-called Puerto Ricans and Dominicans? Or East Indians, they're classified as heathens. Are they just as oppressed or in any capacity similar to Cardi B, to Fat Joe, to the Hispanics who are catching hell in the hood? I'm calling them out because they're going to be barbecuing and acting a damn fool today and busting off their guns as well. You're not going to see Chinese busting off their guns on the rooftops in Harlem, Brownsville, Bedford-Stuyvesant, Bushwick, where a lot of Hispanics are, Park Slope, where a lot of Hispanics are, Coney Island, where a lot of Hispanics are, or the Bronx, where a lot of Hispanics are. You're not going to see them. You're not going to see Chinese and East Indians busting off their guns like Hispanics. You're not going to see that. When you look at this thing spiritually, it's a whole different can of worms. It's a whole can of worms. And the Most High knew this, and this is why we're in the condition that we're in now. The Most High punished us, and we had to go through everything the Most High said that we would go through. Bottom line. You don't have to see the curses. You can feel the curses. And you can't tell me a Puerto Rican or Dominican or a Mexican doesn't feel the curses like the so-called Negroes compared to a Chinese, Japanese, East Indian, Polynesian. You can't tell me they feel it the same way. The closest thing to a so-called black man out of all those groups I named are so-called Hispanics. Yeah, so-called Hispanics. Try to deny it, but you're not going to get anywhere. Deuteronomy 28, verse 29, it says, and thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness. Meaning it's going to be a people without any spirituality, with any wisdom. 28 verse says, the Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. We link that to the so-called Negroes in the hood who's oppressed, who's on drugs, who fill the white man's jails up, and yet keep Independence Day. Yeah. That's what we do. That's what we do. But who fits that bill more than Puerto Ricans? Check it out.
110 in Lexington, that's where the Puerto Ricans landed. I got the name of the dog, but it's a special breed that's trained to hunt rats.
It's my younger cousin's room.
Black Rob was a major figure in my neighborhood.
You can only have like 7 round magazines.
And those of you from the hood of New York, Chicago, Philadelphia, you see these damn projects. You see that. Are Chinese living like that? Are East Indians living like that? You remember smoking weed in the staircase? Can't you just smell the pee by the elevator to the right behind this brother? You can't smell that pee? You can't smell the pork mixed with the beautiful sweet aroma of urine in the hallway of this building? You can't smell that through the screen? Through the screen, you can't smell that. I'm talking about you hard body brothers and sisters who know what it's like to be in the hood, who know the spirit. Remember I said you could feel the curses, not just see it, but you can feel the curses when you watch this video and when you look at these brothers. You can feel the curses. Clear as day. Clear as day. Tell me the curses don't fit Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, you're sick. You're sick. The Lord shall smite thee with madness and blindness and astonishment of heart. Who's that talking about? Just Negroes only? And thou shalt grope at noonday as the blind gropeth in darkness, and thou shalt not prosper in thy ways. You gonna tell me Puerto Ricans and Dominicans are prospering from the bodega, from Goya? They're sitting in the UN debating on what country they're gonna ship beans to, chilatas, whatever it's called. They're debating at the UN. They're going back and forth with Africans in the Arab community on empanadas and the price of empanadas, huh? And platanos. You sound crazy. You sound crazy. And thou shalt only be oppressed and spoiled evermore. And thou shalt be only oppressed and spoiled evermore, and no man shall save thee. So who's going to save us? The Most High. Who's going to save Juan, Rico, Puppet, Maria, Linda Garcia, Mrs. Sanchez on the third floor of the projects? Who's going to save them? The Most High. The Most High. They've been taught that this guy is going to save them. Are East Indians following the white Jesus as a savior and to get them out of their condition on a higher level than Hispanics? Who serves the white Jesus more, East Indians or Hispanics? Who serves the white Jesus more, Dominicans or East Indians and Chinese and Japanese? Who serves and worships and bow down to the white Jesus more, Hispanics or the three groups I just named? Tell me. Tell me. But I guess they learned that from so-called black people, because so-called black people, they're in the hood and they're religified. And this is why Dominicans and Hispanics are religified too. Even though historically we know the conquistadors and the Spaniards came there and forced white Jesus and Catholicism on Hispanics, the same way it was beaten into so-called blacks. It's ironic how on the right you got black people who are oppressed in the hood, in the projects. This looked like somewhere in Atlanta or the South or Southern type projects. And on the left, you got Hispanics in the projects too. But where are the Chinese, Japanese, and East Indians if Hispanics are heathens? Where are they? Where are they? Don't make any sense. No. Don't make any sense whatsoever. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. Cardi B sees it. She sees it.
Magazine.
This is where the chopped cheese originated.
Chopped cheese. That's that crap you get at the bodega. I don't like it. It's the closest thing to a Philly cheesesteak. Check it out.
Like 7-round magazine.
This is where the chopped cheese originated.
You got Negroes with Puerto Ricans. Negroes, Puerto Rico. Explain, man. Negroes. Can't explain that, man. You sound crazy. Look at why are they together? These are heathens. Why are they together? It don't make any sense. If they're heathens, it don't make any sense. And then situation-wise, They fit the bill of the northern tribes. More than any heathen you can think of. Yeah. They fit that bill on a higher level than anybody you can name as far as nationalities are concerned. Say I'm lying. Oh, man, you can't make this up. But, it's all good because, again, the thing that holds us back, this is my personal opinion now, or what I believe the Holy Spirit is showing me. When the money dries up, people are going to think and move completely differently than how they're moving now. This is why the Most High says, in their affliction, they shall seek him early. That's why the Most High says that. Check it out. The Most High says in Jeremiah 50, verse 33, it says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah, the children of Israel and the children of Judah. Who are the children of Israel, which is the northern kingdom, and who are the children of Judah, which is the southern kingdom? How do you separate or recognize the two as one northern and one southern, one as Israel, one as Judah? Because one is his so-called Hispanic and one is so-called black. One mighty nation. Don't matter if they have straight hair. Don't matter if they have big lips. Don't matter if they have thin lips. Don't matter. The world consists of Indian-looking people and so-called black-looking people. Look at the ancient Persians. Some had thin lips and straight hair. Some had afros and thick lips. This is how the Lord made mankind. And you had Edomites that came on the earth, and they come out of us, but they look nothing like people on this earth, the natural people on the earth, meaning people with melanin and skin color. No. But the point is I'm trying to make is that it says, thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together, and all that took them captives. See that? All that took them captives held them fast. They refused to let them go. And this is many times over during the Babylonian captivity and current now. It's just that you're not free in your minds. They won't tell you the truth. And I don't blame them. They're playing out their part in prophecy. They would lose their power in their kingdom if they told you the truth. But slowly the truth is coming out. And a lot of the Edomites, so-called white people, are admitting the truth. A lot of them are admitting the truth in these last days. So it's no big deal. I love this video.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's a beautiful day out here in Harlem. I'm in El Barrio.
Here's the hood again. Why do they have Spanish Harlem? And Chinatown is all the way down below, or the lowest part, well, practically the lowest part of Manhattan on Canal Street. Why do you have a Chinatown, but you have a Spanish Harlem? Which consists of so-called Puerto Ricans mainly. Then the west side, you have all Dominicans. Mainly Dominicans. Not all, but mainly Dominicans. So how do you explain that? Why aren't they, if you're from New York, why aren't the Dominicans and the Puerto Ricans, if they're heathens, put in Bensonhurst? Put in Long Island? Huh? Why are they in the grimy hood in the projects like us? Why? Seem like Jeremiah 50 is spot on. Spot on. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, the children of Israel and the children of Judah were oppressed together. Wherever black people are, Hispanics are right there. Not Chinese, East Indians, or Africans, but Hispanics are always with us in the hood.
And we out here in Johnson houses, project, school, prison, pretty much look the same yellow, same gray.
Look at that elevator. I despise the elevators in the hood. I despise them. It's not always, but there's pee in the damn elevator, man. The floor is never clean. There's rap snack potato chip bags on the floor with wrappers on the on the potato chip bags, and beer bottles or spilt beer in the elevator, and you can smell it. I ain't banging on the brothers in the hood. I respect and love my brothers and sisters in the hood. You just in an unfortunate situation or state of mind. I know things will get better because I believe in the judgment of the Most High. But as long as we keep doing the things the heathens do, as long as we keep living the way the heathens do, the Most High is going to keep kicking us in our ass. Yeah.
Same floor, all out. We got the K9 from the big dog. What's up, Juan?
What's good, bro?
It's one of the legends right there. Man, that's one. I see legend right there. Trash shoe, you gotta be careful because there's usually rats in there. You know what I'm saying?
You heard that? Did you hear what he said? There's rats in there, man. I remember that thing, they wouldn't move the garbage out. The damn chute would be packed with garbage. I'd be all the way on the 15th floor. Garbage is that high up, packed up in the chute. I used to like throwing bottles down there and hear it break against the wall.
And they crawl. I don't know how. I used to have an uncle who had a little dog. He was a janitor, a super of a building. He would throw it in the trash and let it fight with the rats. You know what I'm saying? A little, I forgot the name of the dog, but it's a special breed that's trained to hunt rats, man. And he would throw it in the chute.
How do you explain this? How do you explain this? The same rats and roaches we deal with, they deal with. Same police brutality we deal with, they deal with.
Close the chute and the dog go in there and just have the time of his life, come out with blood on his face, all crazy, and it was because of that. So up here, man, you gotta be careful when you throw your trash out. You just open and throw. You don't leave it open too long because you might get something hopped out on you, and you don't want that, trust me. We're gonna take you inside the apartment. Pretty much what the living rooms look like. We got my ancestors, we got my grandmother here, my moms, and my aunts.
Look at that.
It was poor before, but it won't happen again. You know what I'm saying? So even my family that's in the projects.
Look at Poppy. Look at Poppy.
They make sure they holding it down, and they like to live comfortable, and they respectful people, and everybody is pretty much like that. We thankful, man. Like I say on the wall, man. We thankful for everything we got.
You see the white Jesus on the wall. The 12 lying disciples, forgers of lies. You see that? Check it out.
They make sure they holding it down, and they like to live comfortable, and they respectful people, and everybody is pretty much like that. We thankful, man. Like I say on the wall, man. We thankful for everything.
Look over there to the right.
Everything we
Right, that's all devils now. You tell me, East Indians have that on their walls? Huh? Chinese have that on their walls, or they have their gods on their walls? Well, plenty of Dominicans and Puerto Ricans have that on their wall, man. Yeah. Yeah. The same way we get hit up, they getting hit up with the religions and the lies too. You know I'm right. You know I'm right. The same exact thing, man. Same thing. Your grandmother, grandfather of your so-called Black or West Indian has the 12 false apostles on their wall, the white Jesus, like you see on the right, on the walls. And just like how the scripture says Ephraim is joined to idols, they are obsessed with the white man's religions. Obsessed. And you know I'm right. You know I'm right.
We got some family photos, we always got to show love, proud Latino family. I'm Puerto Rican, man, so we Boricuas, a lot of pride.
Nobody act like a Puerto Rican on this planet than Puerto Ricans. Nobody acts like a Puerto Rican on this planet like Puerto Ricans. They are special, special people. And only a fool and an idiot would believe that Puerto Ricans, like this brother here, are the same equivalent as damn Chinese and East Indians or just your average heathen. That don't make no damn sense. Don't make no sense. But yet the same Puerto Ricans and Dominicans, they're going to be out there barbecuing and getting drunk and fornicating and fighting and shooting, just like so-called black people. And when the riots start again, and the looting start again, Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and Mexicans will be on the streets, breaking into the jewelry store, breaking into the cell phone store, breaking into the Nike store. The Hispanics will be breaking into those stores. Will they be breaking into the stores with Chinese? Will they be stealing Nikes and big screen TVs with the East Indians? Or will they be looting and burning down stores and running back uptown to the Harlem, to Brooklyn? If they're in Philadelphia, Baltimore, wherever they're at, they'll be running back to the hood with so-called black people, and no Chinese and East Indians will be in sight. The Chinese and East Indians will be protected by the so-called white man. Yeah. They have more rights, Chinese, Japanese, East Indians, they have more rights and power in this country than Hispanics. And you know it. Yeah, you know it. Stop kidding yourselves. You're kidding yourselves. This is not hard. You just got to think spiritually. That's all you got to do. Think spiritually. You don't need a million scriptures or a million formats of history. No, you don't. Not at all. Most High says right here, Ephesians 4 verse 13. It says, till we all come in the unity of the faith. See that? And one day we will. One day we will. Right now, too many of us believe in the white Jesus and different religions. But the Most High says, till we all come in the unity of the faith and the knowledge of the Son of the Most High unto a perfect man. Who's the perfect man? Who you call Jesus. Not this character. Not this one. But more like this. That's much better. That's much better. See? Till we all come in the unity of the faith and of the knowledge of the Son of the Most High unto a perfect man, unto the measure of the stature of the fullness of Christ. That's what we're striving for. We're striving to get to that point where we're perfectly balanced in the spirit of Yahweh Shai being who you call Christ. Next verse is even better. It says that we henceforth or hereforth be no more children of the Most High, the Israelites. There would be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine. You got to be careful. The same way the wind blows in different directions and go up, down, sideways, left, right. The doctrines fly the same way. Just confusion, and will have you in the spirit of confusion and walking in darkness. It's too much crap going on and being taught. There be henceforth be no more children tossed to and fro and carried about with every wind of doctrine by the sleight, meaning trickery, of men and cunning craftiness whereby they lie in wait to deceive. And that's what a lot of you have been, that believe that all blacks are Israelites, and separating yourself from Hispanics of Indian descent, not Spaniard. You've been tricked by the cunning craftiness whereby they lie in wait to deceive. And you've been deceived. You've been deceived. You can say I haven't, but you have. Oh yeah, you have. You can say no, but you have.
You know what I'm saying? We got our ancestors, you know what I'm saying? We got everybody flowing through, you can see.
Only thing is missing is the cat. You know, Hispanics love cats. Pucho the cat. That's missing. And a couple of photos of his big brother in the military, which I think I see. You always got you go to a damn Puerto Rican house or Dominican house, you see a damn brainwashed Dominican or Puerto Rican soldier with the damn hat on, the damn army hat on or military hat on, all ready to fight for Esau.
Look at my cousin when he was getting money, he was out thinking big time in South Beach. This is what the full apartment looks like, the layout. You can see the bathroom. This is my younger cousin's room. This is my aunt and my uncle's room. And there's a linen closet over here. So we're
There's some good sized rooms for the hood. East New York is a whole different story, much more than East New York. It's my pink houses. I remember I wanted to move to Brownsville just because they had terraces. I think it was Atlantic Towers. I don't know if it's Brownsville. Atlantic Towers, are you familiar with Brooklyn? Damn hood. Glad they ain't do that, though. And know who talked me out of it? This Spanish sister, Puerto Rican sister, Maria Gonzalez. She talked me out of that. And I'm glad the Most High put the spirit on her to talk me out of that.
When you look outside the housing apartments, there's usually a letter. It's like E or B. That represents the apartment and the line you in. 5A, 5B, 5C. And this is what all the apartments will look like in this line.
See, you know what the sad thing is? We think this is as far as we can go. That's how we think. We think that this is it. And, we no longer, let me put myself up for this. We no longer recognize that we come from royal people, great people. We think that this is it. And it's a goddamn shame. I mean, even Cardi B, she's talking some good stuff, but she's the only way she can make it is to be a damn whore, man. Her whore. And what's her husband or boyfriend name? I think it's Offset, I think. This dude is dressing like a damn woman with some other rapper or entertainer. It's a damn shame. Check it out.
Especially the Dominican Republic, it was one of the first places. And people don't be knowing that shit. And then they just be so confused and they want to dictate your race so bad. And it's like, bro, pick up a passport, pick up a book so you could fucking know.
She's a savage. She's a goddamn savage. I seen videos with her. She's a wild beast, man. You ain't gonna tell me she ain't a damn beast, man. You ain't gonna tell me that.
And know the oppression that these countries went through. And these people from these countries went through. Now it wasn't only America that went through some shit. These countries went through some shit as well.
Brother asked me on Facebook, what about the Afro-Mexicans? Do they have the same rights as the others? Yeah, the same Afro ones. The white man, he don't love them either. He brutalizes them and destroys them. I asked you the question before. I should have went on my regular page so I could have went live on there. But I asked you before, if you line up a Chinese, if you line up an East Indian next to the Chinese, and you line up a Japanese next to the East Indian, so you have three people, and you have an Afro-Latino on the right side of those other three I named, and you have a regular Indian Latino on the same right-hand side, but on the left, again, you have Chinese, East Indian, and Japanese. Which one has the same flow, vibration, and spirit closest to the so-called black man? Which one? That ain't but based on because they've been around us for hundreds and thousands of years. That's insane. That's totally insane. Furthermore, if you have both those groups on the right-hand side, so-called Dominicans, so-called Puerto Ricans, so-called Mexicans, then on the left-hand side, you have East Indians, you have Chinese and Japanese. Which one does the white man put his foot in the asses of one group above the other group? Does the white man put his foot up the behind of the Dominicans and Puerto Ricans on the same level as the other people who you classify as heathens? You classify both as heathens, but the Puerto Rican heathen, the Dominican heathen, who I believe are Israelites, does the white man kick their ass the same way he kicks the ass of so-called East Indians, so-called Chinese, so-called Japanese? Mexicans, they work their ass off. You don't want to get up 5 in the morning. I get up like 3:30 in the morning. I've trained myself to get up 3:30 in the morning. I was on the Ave one day, and this car was behind me. It was It was a big pickup truck. It wasn't a 150. A lot of short, 5 foot tall Mexicans, you see them in a F-150, but this was what is it? I think it's a Sequoia. It was a big truck. Nice, man. Because I was interested in getting one of those, so I'm checking it out. Tundra. It was a Tundra. Nice Toyota Tundra, and they hold their value pretty good. And I want one, but I'm going to get a older one. And damn Mexican, well, he could have been from some Central America, and he could have been in Guatemala or whatever. I said, "This is your car?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "I like this car. I'm trying to get one of these." I said, "What year is it?" He told me the year. I said, "Nah, I can't afford that." And he said, "Yeah, you can afford it." I said, "What do you do?" He said, "He works construction." Now, as soon as he told me he works construction, I know he works his ass off. He works his ass off. I guarantee you that. And a lot of so-called Negroes, they're not willing to do the work that a lot of Hispanics do. They want to say that the white man won't give them work. But the Puerto Rican, the Mexican man, he gonna work for $10 an hour, $12 an hour, sometimes $15 an hour. But what they do, they pool their money together and they support each other. So-called blacks, you're killing each other. I'm not saying in all cases, but you're killing each other. So that's the issue. You got to work, like Kevin Samuels said, to make money in this country and to get by, you have to put in 60 hours, man. You have to put in at least 60 hours on the job, and home is just to eat, SH, sleep, and go back to the job. And you stack your dough and you invest in real estate and you flip that real estate and you keep buying homes until you get on your feet, till you can rent out the homes you accumulated, and you collect rent and you use that rent to pay off your mortgages, and you sit fat. And you and like the so-called Jew, Esau, you keep the property. You don't sell the property. You keep the property and you pass that property down to your children, and they repeat the same thing. But if you're worrying about being a damn 40-year-old rapper, if you're having kids all over the place and you're not taking care of the kids, what the hell you think gonna happen, man? You ain't gonna make no money. You got people, so-called black people, who make good money, 6 figures, but because they have so many damn kids and they're not family orientated, even though you make 6 figures, it's like you're making $40,000 because you're stuck in child support. You're stuck paying for clothes and diapers, and you continue the same vicious cycle. I'm not saying that applies to all black people, because a lot of you are going to be in your feelings, especially your sisters. But my point is, you got to look at this thing spiritually. You got to look at it spiritually. So I applaud Cardi B on some of what she's saying, but then you'll see her on the BET Awards or something shaking her behind, but I applaud her. You know? Yeah, I give her that. I give her some props. You know? Check it out. Got a lot of money too,
Gosh,
man.
I feel like we're never gonna get home.
Go up a little bit.
Cardi speaks Spanish. She's not black, even though we have similar features, same skin complexion, but no, they wanna not put Cardi in it because I speak Spanish. They wanna act like when Cardi used to go to the motherfucking stores, these white bitches wasn't behind me like, can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? Can I help you? Like if Cardi didn't come.
That's because the white man look at them like they Spanish-speaking ninjas. But you got a lot of Hispanics who think they're white. But like I said earlier, this new younger generation, they act totally savage, man. Totally savage, like ninjas, man. 2 generations prior, they went on that vibe about don't hang around blacks and they're the worst, we're different. That's dying out now. That's dying out. They got a few videos where you got Hispanics that just like black men because that mojo that was on them is starting to wear off. And you got a lot of black people who are running abroad, the passport bros. Look up the passport bros on YouTube. They go into Spanish-speaking countries to get their wives. Some of them are going to buy whores too. I'm not going front. A lot of them is going out there to buy whores. But people who are well together, they want strong family values, and that's very important. It's very important to have strong family values and structure for your children. Imagine raising your daughter, your beautiful daughter, in the hood or with hood values, in opposed to decent, biblical, or if you're not even into the Bible, just good family structure and family values. It's a difference. This is why a lot of Hispanics are so tight-knit, because a lot of the family has not been broken down yet. Their divorce rates are growing too, because the more you become Americanized, the more that's going to be a problem. That's a problem when you become Americanized. America is not a nice place. America, even though you can make dough, because a lot of people run to America because they know you can make dough here. You can get money here. But a lot of people realize that America is bad. It's bad if you want to raise your kids a certain way. This is why I like going to Mexico and the Spanish-speaking countries, because it's a simple life. The people are very simple. You get on the bus and talk with a Mexican or Hispanic, or watch how they greet you. Very simple people. In other words, they're not hardwired to be difficult and just disrespectful in your face. They might have an attitude here and there, but once they become Americanized, or they become like the so-called black woman, it's very hard to deal with. They're not simple. They're hardwired to be rebellious and to fight and to push back and to make you work. It's a lot of work dealing with American-minded black women. But black women in other countries, they're not hardwired that way. Tell me, you know I'm right. You know I'm right. It's not hard to figure out. It's not hard to figure out at all. The Most High says in Micah 2 verse 10, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. This is not your rest. But so-called Negroes in this country, you have become comfortable in a lie. The so-called black woman, just like Eve in the Garden of Eden, who trusted in the wisdom of the serpent, who trusted in the knowledge that was in the midst of the garden, the tree of life, or the tree that was in the midst of the garden, however it goes. They believe a lie and it's not good. They believe a lie and it's not good. This is why you're going to have people eating their pork sausages. Get your latas. Their rice and beans. Their beef patties. It's funny how they eat empanadas and we have beef patties. Both look the same. You have chicken beef patties. You have chicken empanadas. You have beef patties. You have beef empanadas. We do rice and beans. They do rice and beans. Chinese don't do rice and beans. East Indians don't do rice and beans. I'm not saying it's not in their diet, period, but they don't do it the way we do it. Japanese don't do rice and beans and empanadas and beef patties. I wonder why. I wonder why. Just weird, right? You know why. You know why. It says, arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. And that's what we see now. That's what we see now. It shall destroy you with a sore destruction. Even with a sore destruction, it shall, destroy you. Can't say this don't fit us. Can't say this don't fit us. Arise ye and depart, for it is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you even with a sore destruction. Cardi B is destroyed, man. But she's brutally honest in a lot of cases. I don't know, for some reason, I don't know. I used to like really bang on her, but I like her for some reason, because sometimes she seems vulnerable, I think the word is, when she like really let herself go. She says the reason she acts the way she acts is because it's a defense mechanism. I don't know, that's what the spirit is showing me. Maybe it's not.
Come from a hood that continuously get oppressed, that people get treated like shit. And I didn't grow up with I didn't grow up like or on some like people hang a certain group of people hang out with a certain group of people, a certain group of people hang out with a certain group of people. I'm from New York. Like, we don't do that. Everybody just fuck with each other.
See, that's what you don't understand, brother, from Baltimore, Shawsham. We don't get down like that in Philadelphia and New York and Jersey. We don't move like that. From when you come out your mother's womb in New York and you're able to walk and you go to pre-K. You go to pre-K and kindergarten with Puerto Ricans. Then you go to junior high school. We don't call it middle school in New York. We call it junior high school. You have elementary school. You with Puerto Ricans, Dominicans in the hood. With damn broken down buildings and slums. You with Puerto Ricans. And you go to the grimy hood and it smells, but you just get used to the smells and you just be happy, man. Some of my best childhood memories was in the hood, man. You just had so much fun, even though, because we didn't know what it was to be rich. We just knew that we're having fun. And I'm a bit long in the tooth. I'm up in age, so back in them days, you can get cookies for 5 cents, 2 cents each. Jolly Ranchers for 10 cents, 5 cents, and you just live off of candy and bad food, and you grow up and you end up in prison and running from the cops and doing bad things. But you do it with Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. That's how it was, and that's how it is today. And that's what she's talking about. There was no division. Oh, you gotta have big lips and you gotta have thick hair. None of that bull crap. None of that, man.
I didn't grow up like or on some like people hang a certain group of people hang out with a certain group of people, a certain group of people hang out with a certain group of people. I'm from New York. Like, we don't do that. Everybody just fuck with each other. Everybody have the same enemy, and the enemy is the police.
Now she's wrong there.
Everybody gets this. Everybody gets
there.
oppressed where I'm from.
The enemy is not just the police. The enemy is the white man. But they love the white man so much, and she loves her money so much, she ain't gonna say that. The enemy is the white man. And the white man don't treat Puerto Ricans the same way they treat Chinese and East Indians. Don't treat them the same. Yet you call them heathens. You say they all in one big heathen boat. You're not the children of the Most High. You're confused.
By the same people. Everybody over here gets everybody here, whether they Puerto Rican, Dominican, Jamaican, Haitian, African American, every single time when a guy or a woman gets harassed, everybody have each other's back here. It's not like, oh, well, they ain't my people, so we ain't taking up for them. That's not how it works out here.
See that, and that's how I push back so hard on that doctrine, that all black doctrine. We didn't come up that way. We didn't come up that way. The only one I might kind of look sideways at us are the Mexicans. They kind of standoffish, but that's the Mexicans up north, But even Mexicans know when, they know the white man is a problem on the planet. They know that. It's not all Mexicans move like that.
That's not how it works in the Bronx. And Cuban envy, you know it. No, this is not my real hair, boo.
It's okay. But I ain't gonna be long, man. I'm gonna sit my behind down and have a drink, man. I don't know if this went through right. I just rushed through this on OBS. I want to try to start getting more familiar with OBS, start using that more. But I just wanted to touch on that, man, because we need to wake up and realize that this is it, man. This is it. It's not gonna be a cakewalk and they're gonna repair things. People want to go back to 2007 so bad, and 2014 and 13 and get money. It's not gonna happen, man. Most High he has the writing on the wall. I'm not saying don't get money, but love the Most High and put the Most High above everything, man. Love the Most High and put the Most High above everything, because this is nothing to take lightly, nothing to take for granted. Put my face back up for this. Nothing to take for granted, man. Do what's right in the spirit of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, and practice mercy and love, and to be meek and humble, man. Practice that, because in these times the Most High has definitely turned up the flame, and things are going to get a lot more difficult. But the Most High, he respects charity and love and brotherhood. He respects that. I know it's not easy, because we're dealing with a lot of satanic brothers who know the truth versus brothers and sisters who know the truth and walk in the spirit of the Most High. But just something to consider and to think about. You Hispanics and Puerto Ricans, Dominicans, man, don't give up faith. Do what's right. That white Jesus, that's deeply ingrained in a lot of you, man. So purge that out of you and watch as well as pray. Till next time.